We really have a fundamental belief within our company and with the people that we work with that one, if you need a written contract, then you should be a little concerned. It's nice to have written contracts just to kind of outline things, but if you need one, then you should be concerned about the relationship. And we're very hesitant to move forward if we still feel like we need a written contract. Like, you know, Mike and I went to auction together. How much did you buy that house for?
Pre-rehab?
Yeah.
19.
Okay, so Mike spent 20 grand of his money, and he and I had a handshake agreement, and I 100% knew that Mike would bring the money in to fix up the house, and that Mike would keep his part of that agreement, and he knew, because of the relationship that we have, that we would do that same thing. And I know for a fact that the relationship will go forward that well. And that's the way that we like to do business. And the relationships that we have, the 400 homes that we've sold, even with the seminar companies that we work with all over the country, we don't have a written contract with them. Now, I'm not opposed to written contracts. I have a brother who's an attorney. I think it's good to get things in writing. But the essence of those kind of relationships are how we like to do business, which is why we don't really want to market what we do other than word of mouth. We'd rather have a small meeting like this and meet 3 or 4 people and then let you tap into your network. Because we feel like, you know, I think that's the whole idea of websites like LinkedIn, you know, where people can build their business networks. I just feel like they make it too easy for people to get added into the network, and you end up getting diluted. And so what's the point if it's not a network of people who are like-minded who get what you get? And so that's really what we're organically trying to grow here in India, a group of investors who value real estate, commercial and residential, who have, you know, ideally have had some experience in the past with it, good or bad, and who can value what we bring to the table. Because what we do in terms of asset management, and in terms of collecting rents and fixing houses up and buying good deals, there's a lot of skill that goes behind that. There's a lot of value to that. And when people don't put a value on that, then we find that we have a very frustrating relationship with them. So could you imagine trying to do property management for a former, you know, Bernie Madoff client? What that would be like, you know? Because they had a fundamental belief that I could just give Bernie Madoff $3 million. And what return was he paying, John? Do you know?
Oh, it was in the 12, 15, I think.
Yeah, it was like 12 to 15, but it was unlimited capital. Yeah. Right? And you could give him $5 million, and he'd just keep, you know, on paper, you'd be getting your 12 to 15% returns. Now, we always laugh about that in real estate because those returns aren't very hard to do with houses, especially in this market. Now, you have to have a lot of knowledge to buy, like we did when we bought the 6 houses we got at auction today. You need to know how to, you know, there's a huge body of knowledge, but as you build that up, from screening tenants to construction to collecting the rents to evictions and what you can and can't do and the best way to go about it, then it can become a machine. And right now, there's about 100 people in Indianapolis that are part of our team that relates to buying properties, rehabbing properties, renting properties, you know, everything from construction to leasing. And they're part of that team because in their own specific way they have a high proficiency. So take, for example, Terry and Ryan. They own a company that leases properties and finds tenants for our properties. And that's what they specialize in, and they've been doing that for how many years now?
6.
6 years. And, you know, just ballpark, how many...
I couldn't tell you.
How many applications have you taken?
A million.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot. Average 25 a month in rentals, and then, so that's like 100 applications, so you have to wait through all the bad ones.
Yeah, so that's 1,200 a year. I mean, probably 7,000, yeah. 7 to 10,000 applications. So think about, you know, by doing that over and over. Anybody read the book Outliers? You seen that book, Outliers? Have you heard of that book, Outliers?
I've heard of it.
Have you heard of it? Oh, great book. If you get a chance. The premise of the book is really interesting. They use Tiger Woods as an example. Any golfers, Jeremy or Craig? Okay. So, it's Craig, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you think about...
it's Jimmy.
Jimmy? Oh, I think it's Jeremy.
Sorry.
Jimmy.
Sorry, okay. I tried to say it again so I remember it, but now you're Jeremy. Now you're Jay.
Sorry,
Jay. Yeah, just call me Adam. Just call me Adam Aaron. So the premise of the book is really interesting. So they used Tiger Woods, and they said Tiger Woods wasn't born to play golf. Tiger Woods didn't have a golf gene. What did Tiger Woods have? What was his biggest competitive advantage? What do you think, Craig?
Well, it's either his father or his attention.
Yeah, his father. Because what did his father do? What was the first big thing he did?
Taught him how to swing a golf club.
At what age?
Like 2.
At like 2. And that got him on what TV show?
Johnny Carson.
Yeah, he was on Johnny Carson by age 3, right? Hitting the little plot. Anybody seen that video of Tiger Woods? Okay. So what Outlier says is, it wasn't that Tiger Woods was born knowing how to play golf. Okay, he still had to develop the motor skills, learn how to grip the club, learn how to take away, learn how to follow through. But Outliers talks about doing something 10,000 times. And the sooner age in life that you get to that 10,000 level, the better coaching you get. So let's say that I didn't start playing golf until I was 22. Okay? So by the time Tiger Woods was 22, he had probably had 80,000 repetitions with a golf club. And the idea, when you look at how coaching goes in our society, so the kids who are, think of the kind of coaches that his dad was paying for when he was 8 or 9. And the additional refined training, so as he continued to plow through his repetitions, he was able to get better and better coaching. And so then it becomes a chicken or the egg. He got the coaching, he got the repetitions, and he had sufficient eye-hand coordination to take advantage of it. But he didn't have a golf gene. And so when you look at anyone that's truly great, with the exception of maybe like a Mozart, who was composing music when he was 3, they kind of allow for a few of those, but for the most part they say some of the greatest achievers in our society, it's a function of how soon they got to that repetition level. And if you think about it, it makes a lot more sense from when you look at like a Tiger Woods. Really interesting book, because then it kind of erases some of the excuses that we use for not achieving. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm no Tiger Woods. Well, yeah, you're no Tiger Woods because you haven't hit a golf club 10,000 times. You go out, 3 times a year. And you're drunk half the time. So, interesting book. So I think you could definitely say that like Terry and Ryan now are leasing outliers. Right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are closing in on 10,000 applications. And we found that that's really the case with real estate. We don't think that we have any secret sauce, and we certainly don't think that anything we specifically do is that unique. So for example, when we screen tenants, we actually pull their credit. We actually call where they used to live before, say they used to live. We actually want to see pay stubs. You'd be surprised at how many other companies take shortcuts from that. Why do we do that every time to every person? Because we found that when we don't, we end up evicting them. And so, just the trial and error of that. So is that really unique and cool? No, it's not. But we never vary from that because we found that it works. And if you take that little microcosm of what we do and multiply that by, 500, everything from how we do a budget to how we decide, we went to, there was 300 and how many props at auction today, right?
389.
We went from 389 to 6. Okay, how did we get there? Well, just trial and error. We've purchased now, since I started buying here in January of 2005, we're closing in on 2,000 houses here in Marion County that we've purchased, been a part of, bought, dealt with, and each one little tweak, a little bit thing that you learn. So.